a modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And on today's show, we talk about DC's television shows, Deadpool's video debut, X-Men concept art, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and more.
What?
You're going to have to forgive me. I've had a sinuses explode this last few days, so if I sound a little nasally.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's...
You're in the nation's bread basket, aren't you?
Whatever that means, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just pollen all around you now. You have no choice. Yeah, you have no survival.
The weather change, I think, is what's really been getting me, because it's like storming and like 70 degrees, and then it goes to like 30 at night and back and forth. I'm like, make up your mind.
You're boned, man.
Yeah, pretty much screwed. Man,
well, the weather must be affecting the news outlets, because we got a little bit of a lighter week this week.
We do. All that being said, though, we just talked about this. The next 4 weeks are going to be the most intense 4 weeks we've had in a while.
Yeah, this is like the calm before the storm.
Oh, it definitely is, and the storm will hit hard, my friends.
Yeah, I mean, even when Ultron comes out, we're going to be getting a new Star Wars trailer. So not only are we going to be talking about Ultron, we're going to be talking about Star Wars. So and then we got Daredevil coming up really soon. Yeah, and How close are we to the last to the season finale of Powers?
I just watched episode 6, so we got 4 more weeks of that.
Man, so yeah, that's gonna wrap up right around Ultron too, man.
And I'm pretty sure S.H.I.E.L.D. will probably tie into Ultron. Mm-hmm. So the next 4 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. will probably build up to that as well. Yeah,
and then we're gonna have all of our superhero TV shows. They're all gonna go into their finales right around that time too.
Yeah, it's going to be intense.
We just got to sit back and be happy that we can enjoy the lighter times, too.
Yeah, like today, where we focus on the future of what's coming with this Arrow Flash spinoff.
Oh, segue, I like it.
Yeah, working on those. So, the Arrow Flash spinoff, we talked about it a couple episodes ago. They're bringing in kind of like the rogues, the smaller people from the Arrow Flash that people like. Mm-hmm. They've recently cast Hawkgirl. Mm-hmm. In this, the actress's name is Ciara Renee, I believe. Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with Hawkgirl?
Yeah. Just like most DC stuff, I'm familiar with the characters from the Justice League TV show.
Okay.
So that's about as much as I know about her.
So they gave us this little description of her. Ciara will be playing a character called Kendra Saunders, who is a young woman who is just beginning to learn that she has been repeatedly reincarnated over the centuries. When provoked, her ancient warrior persona manifests itself, along with wings that grow out of her back, earning her the moniker Hawkgirl.
Ooh.
Now, the beginning of that sounds cool. The repeatedly reincarnated over the centuries, because that's how hot guy, hot girl work, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't know she had wings that come out of her back when she's provoked. Is that something from the cartoon as well?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure if that's something that kind of pops out or whatnot. I was always under the impression that Hawkgirl was kind of in the same vein of Wonder Woman, where she had just always existed and you just kind of just showed up when they needed an extra hero. So I don't know if having some sort of like character that can hide the wings and show them is something that they're working on, but it would make more sense for a TV show. It'd be kind of weird to be like a normal person walking around with wings, bumping into stuff at the grocery store.
Yeah, she looks like a teenager, so I mean, she's not an older established character, and I think they're probably looking to save on budget. Mm-hmm. But my understanding with the hot guy, hot girl kind of thing is that they're aliens from another planet, and it kind of the basis for that Will Smith movie Hancock, like whenever like hot guy and hot girl like fall in love, they get killed and they're like reincarnated, like different like across the world, so they have to like try to find each other over their lifetime as well, and then they find each other, fall in love, and then die and all that, get killed and all that stuff. So that's my understanding. If someone knows better about hot guy, hot girl, tell us.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. But I think with a lot of these CW TV shows, they'll be taking some liberties themselves Because they got to make it work in this little universe that they're making. But I think I'm more interested in the whole show in general because, we have Marvel that is working on these individual TV shows as well. But they're trying to culminate into this Defender series where they all kind of come together, kind of like a mini Avengers type deal. But the CW seems to be doing this almost just like these extra groups of people, and just like, oh, let's take these table scraps together and see if we can make a TV show out of them. They say that it's probably going to focus mainly around Brandon Routh and the Atom, which I think would be cool, and I think he could definitely hold his own show. But I'm more curious about what the title of this show is going to be. It just seems really confusing.
I think the title's probably going to be Arrow Flash Spinoff, of course. That's definitely the only title that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What I don't get about, not what I don't get, what's interesting about Hawkgirl in this situation is everything kind of in the Arrow Flash seems to be built off technology and like skill, and this is kind of more of a mystical aspect rather than the science and skill set that the other characters I've seen are built off of. So that's really cool.
Yeah, well, they've been introducing some mystical aspects very lightly in the Arrow TV show, and it seems to work pretty well. So I would say with a spinoff they might be able to pull it off. And the Flash is definitely more science-based, so it'll be kind of cool to see how they bring this in. I'm definitely interested in it. The CW's been doing a good job with these series, so I'm definitely looking forward to more.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone updated as more information comes out, and hopefully they reveal it like Deadpool revealed his information this week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about Deadpool's rating again. I know we're probably beating a dead horse with this thing.
Yeah, this is at least the third or fourth time, but it's been bouncing around.
Is it R? Is it not R? Is it R? Is it not R? What is the rating finally, Mike?
Well, it's finally official. There's a video proof now, and we are getting our rated R Deadpool movie finally. Yes,
sir. And definitely how they announced this is probably one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, actually, it was pretty funny. I'll talk about how I found out, because basically how I found most things out is you shoot me over a text message and you're like, okay, we officially got our rated R Deadpool movie, and then I'm just like, oh, who's the source, who said, is it official? And you're like, oh, it's official, and then you send me this link and you open it up and it's this video. It looks like a little extra interview segment, like Extra the TV show with Mario Lopez sitting down with Ryan Reynolds. And you get to watching it, and you're just like, well, this just seems really cheesy. And then, like, a couple minutes into it, you start to figure out, well, I guess not a couple minutes into it. But,
before you jump, if you haven't watched it, watch it first. Then listen to this, because Mike's about to lay it on you.
Yeah, we'll give you a second. Go watch that video. It's in the show notes, the link. So pause it now. Yeah, you can pause it now. Do. Okay, welcome back. So, yeah, that was really cool, right?
Yes. So okay. So he's interviewing Mario Lopez. Then what happens, Mike?
Well, Deadpool walks behind Mario Lopez and bashes him over the head with what looks like maybe a filing cabinet, if I remember right.
Yeah, definitely. That is Ryan Reynolds in costume. And that's the first time we get to see the costume, and it works so good.
Yeah, I think that's almost what you want to take away more from this video than the clever announcement of it being rated R, is that this is like almost like test footage that we get to see.
Yeah. He takes out Mario Lopez and confirms that this will, of course, be R rated. And they released this on April 1st, so you don't know if it's April Fools or not, but they definitely said it is R, and that was sweet.
Yeah, that was just a great way to announce it. It's really cool seeing him in the costume. Obviously, like we talked about last week, we haven't seen the emotive eyes yet. So I'm curious if they intentionally didn't add it into the video, or they just didn't have time to do any sort of CG effects to it. So it'll be kind of interesting to see once that comes along. That's something that's still missing. But it was a cool little video. I really like the tongue-in-cheek just feel of marketing that they're taking with Deadpool. So that's just it's just good news.
Yeah, it's such a low budget film as well. They've got to do word of mouth marketing, and there is no better way to get people talking than this. Share this video. So if you're a Deadpool fan, even if you're not a Deadpool fan, this was fun, and you won't see it done in any other movie coming out of Fox, Marvel, or Sony.
Yeah, I mean, actually, right after I watched this little clip, I went back and I watched that high quality leaked or quote unquote leaked test footage for the movie, and man, it just got me super excited again. I just can't wait.
Yeah. On top of that, we have a new casting announcement for the Deadpool movie as well. Brianna HIldebrand, she's an unknown, has no film credits to her name. She looks interesting, to say the least. Has been cast as a character called Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I don't know about you, but I have no idea who that is.
I did not have any idea who this was. She was apparently created as a character who lasted just a few issues before she was killed. So that's why we really don't know much about her. But this is just an interesting that they're adding more like Deadpool characters from the books to the movie.
Yeah, I mean this movie's starting to seem like it's going to be just chocked full of just little heroes, little villains. It sounds like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, and this isn't anything I'm not going to put in the show notes because there's a bunch of them, but some pictures from the sets leaked this week as well. And they show Ryan Reynolds with the facial scarring that Deadpool has, and the main actress Marina Baccarin she has long hair, unlike her normal short hair, and like a kind of a stripper outfit.
Oh, okay.
And then TJ Miller as Weasel, he's got glasses on and some longer hair. There's a bunch of pictures. I'm sure you can find them online. I don't want to share them because I don't want to get into them because there's so many of them. But it's this being made. They're filming it. It looks cool. I'm ready to watch Deadpool.
Yeah, I think we're all ready for it.
Yeah, definitely. And then just a few months later, Fox has their second mutant movie of the year. 2 out of 3. So X-Men Apocalypse is next year. That's going to be big.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about this in length, how we're excited to see how this is going to roll out. But we're getting a little bit more news on who's going to be in this movie now.
Yes. So some concept art from, I believe it was Bryan Singer, shows Angel in a cage.
Yeah.
So we talked about Angel a couple weeks ago. This guy, I think his name was Ben Hardy. A British guy, blonde, like looks like the character Angel. Was definitely rumored or it's cast in the movie, but they said he's not Angel, even though he looks Angel. Then this photo comes up saying that Angel's in the movie. Like I still think he's Angel. I think that we've been had. So what do you think? You saw this picture. It's in our banner. What do you think of this concept art?
Well, I think it's pretty cool how Bryan Singer's dropping these little bits of knowledge of what's going to be coming in the movie with this little concept art on his Instagram account. I think it's really cool. The image is Angel in this cage, seems to be surrounded by people. I don't know if it seems like maybe it could be a circus or something like that, but he's definitely in some sort of giant bird cage. And it's just cool. I think Angel's a really cool character. I mean, if I remember right, he is one of the original X-Men, correct?
Yes, and he's also one of the original Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
So, I mean, it totally makes sense that we'll be seeing him in this movie. And since we're kind of pseudo-rebooting the X-Men with these newer cast and these newer characters and they're all younger, it makes sense to bring in Angel. So it'll be kind of cool that, it looks like we're shaping up to get, like, a legit, original classic X-Men team up going.
Yeah, I love that they have Angel in there. I just hope they don't underutilize him like X-Men 3 did.
Oh god, yeah.
X-Men 3 they really underutilized Angel, and I think they had Ben Foster as the character then, and he looked like Angel. He could play it really well. I just think he had a really poor line in that film. So here's to Angel taking flight of his own. In this movie, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm laying them on thick today. I'll tell you what. There's no stopping me. Also, Bryan Singer took to Twitter to talk about the Rogue Cut we've talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that previously. We're getting a cut of Days of Future Past with Rogue in it. Yeah,
so they filmed a bunch of scenes with Anna Paquin as Rogue, and they cut them all out for the final because it kind of... I don't know why. I wish I could say it slowed down the pace, but they're putting them back in this summer for Rogue Cut. And the rumor, we've talked about this before, they would add 11 minutes of footage. Wrong. Bryan Singer, quoting him, "For the record, the Rogue Cut of X-Men Days of Future Past is more than 17 minutes longer than the original cut. Man. And has a few little changes that he made."
Wow. So it sounds like it's basically going to be more of a director's cut than a Rogue Cut.
Definitely will. I'm sure they'll probably release it as an X-Men director's cut, hopefully, because I think the Rogue Cut sounds weird. I think that puts more emphasis on Rogue than probably will be needed. But I want to see this. These scenes talking about not Cyclops, Iceman, and Magneto and Xavier going to save Rogue from a mutant concentration camp and bringing her back to take over Kitty Pryde's place after she gets slashed by Wolverine.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool. I mean, 17 minutes, that's nothing to bat an eye at. I mean, they definitely, seems like they gutted the movie if they can add 17 more minutes back to the film. So obviously I don't think it's going to be one 17-minute long scene. It's going to obviously be interspersed throughout the movie. But I'm excited for it. I'm watching this for sure.
Yeah, the movie's already 2 hours and 38 minutes, according to IMDb here. But 17 minutes, it makes it almost a 3-hour film. So that'll be getting your money's worth.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. 3 hours of X-Men, man.
Yeah, of a good X-Men movie.
Yeah, we don't get those too often.
No, they are few and far between. So, yeah, that's Apocalypse. Next up, we're just going to jump into this. This Friday, 5 nights from now, we will be watching Daredevil.
Yeah, 5 sleeps, I believe that you told me earlier.
I do. I count the number of sleeps I need to have until something happens. Because days is longer, so sleeps is shorter, because you're not really there.
Yeah, so I mean, we're specifically going to be talking about these Daredevil character posters, but I think they kind of speak for themselves. But I kind of want to know what's your watching plan? I mean, I think some people might have specific plans when it comes to streaming or binging content on Netflix, but I mean, this is Daredevil. It's kind of a specific thing to us. So how are you approaching that day?
Funny you should ask. I've talked about this yesterday. Depending on what time they release them on Friday, I will watch them during my workday since I work from home.
Okay.
It's 13 hours, so I'm not going to be able to watch them all in one go. That's just way too much to ask for. Also, Friday night, Saturday morning, my girlfriend's in a half marathon she's running, so there's gonna be a break involved in that. So I won't get to watch probably the second half until Saturday. And she wants to watch them, but she's just not gonna be able to binge watch them. So I think I'm gonna binge watch them to soak it in, and then go back and rewatch the episodes at a slower pace. With her, so I can get more details.
Good idea.
So that's my plan, and I'm gonna start Friday as early as I can. What about you?
Well, I think it's safe to say that we won't be reviewing the series come the next podcast. We're definitely going to give it a couple weeks to let people catch up. I don't know if there's actually a rule of thumb out there yet for how long you have to wait until you can review something that's released all at once. But, I've been kind of seeing like 2 to 3 weeks is what people are waiting for. So I'm not too worried. But what I think I'll be doing is my wife definitely wants to watch these with me. So I know, and I'm in the same scenario with you where on Fridays I also get to work in my home office. So I'll have this strong urge to just watch them by myself, but I know she's going to want to watch them with me. So probably like the second that she gets home, we're going to watch them all night. We'll probably wake up in the morning, Saturday morning, and watch them too. We're just going to be glued to it. I mean, I'm just hoping the series is just kind of like, one of those books that you just can't put down where you just can't stop. You just got to go to bed sometimes. But actually I learned a pretty cool trick from a friend. If you're ever binge watching anything on Netflix or you're addicted to it, the best thing to do is to pause your watching in the middle of an episode, not at the end of an episode, because most of the time the cliffhanger is always at the end. So if you pause it in the middle of an episode, it's a little easier to walk away.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I did that with actually I did it with Powers this week because I was watching it and then I got a call from work and I had to take that, so I paused it in the middle and I couldn't wait to go back, but at the same time I was able to get some other stuff done in that time frame as well. What I like to say is, my girlfriend's running marathons, and I'm marathoning TV shows, so so it definitely works out for both of us.
Yeah, well, at least you're both marathoning things you love. She loves running.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm really excited for, I'm gonna be honest, I've been reading reviews, spoiler-free reviews of this show, because the red carpet premiere was last week. People are loving the show. They say it's unlike anything Marvel's ever done, and will definitely set the bar for internet TV shows to come.
Excellent.
And I think, like I said, I don't want to know spoilers. I've stopped watching the TV spots. I'm not clicking on any links or any spoiler reviews. But I am thrilled that we get Daredevil this week, and I can't wait to find the Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah, I wonder if we're gonna have to wait towards the end of the season to see it, or maybe they'll just put him right front and center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the cool thing is we don't really have to suffer through like a pilot episode. Most series, the pilots are commissioned first, and they have to cram so much stuff into a pilot just to sell it. So it's nice because we're gonna just get one nice, even, continuous story over. Was it 13 episodes?
Yeah, so essentially we're watching a 13-hour movie.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked. I'm ready. Friday night can't get here soon enough.
Definitely. So, like Mike said, we'll be covering it later. So don't get your hopes up for next week. But if you have questions about it, send them our way.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be giving our initial impressions next week.
Yeah. So if you have questions about the show, Easter eggs you want to point out, let us know. We want to get your input on that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So about these character posters, real quick, I want to talk. They did something really cool with these that I wish Marvel did more often. I kind of look for it in every Marvel poster. Is that they connect them together. Like they're 5 individual character posters, but then they put them all together to make one big scene where they're all standing side by side at the same place. And I love connecting posters. I hate to admit it, but I do. And I look for that every time they release any set of posters.
Yeah, well, it's like the world's easiest puzzle. It's like the simplest jigsaw puzzle on the planet.
Yeah, totally. And when Marvel did the Avengers Age of Ultron posters last, where they released like one poster a week, I was looking to try to connect them, but alas, they did not. So I like them. It's good to see the other characters other than just Matt Murdock and Kingpin get some focus. And I'm ready to watch Daredevil on Friday.
Oh yeah, we're stoked.
Definitely. So we got some updates on Suicide Squad. You actually sent me this. I did not read this until you sent me this for Suicide Squad movie that DC's working on. Suicide Squad, there's 2, right? There's one in the TV show in Arrow. This is for the movie version. So anyone who wants to get them confused, don't. What did you send me? Tell me about this bit of news here.
So basically, we just got an announcement that we're going to be getting Killer Croc in the Suicide Squad.
What? They're going to put Killer Croc in a movie?
Yeah, so now we don't, I don't know if we are specifically aware if this is going to be a villain to the Suicide Squad. Is it going to be someone added to the squad? I'm not too sure. I think it's going to be an adversary to the Suicide Squad is probably a way to put it, because I don't think Killer Croc has been slated officially to be part of that team.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting. Like, they're not part of the main 5 team. He's probably going to be a villain, maybe a side villain, kind of like Gorilla Grodd is in Flash. They set him up in the pilot, and they kind of been teasing him ever since. So maybe Killer Croc is something like that. Maybe a minor villain or something in the thing, but the person they cast, I can't say his name to save my life.
I'm looking at it right now, and I can't either. No offense to the actor, but it looks kind of like you just ran your keys across the keyboard, honestly.
Yeah, his name is first name Adewale.
Yeah, that's probably correct right there.
He's a Nigerian actor. He was in The Bourne Identity and The Mummy Returns. I've seen him. Most people might know him in the 5th season of Game of Thrones. I guess it's not out yet, is it? That's the 4th season we just ended. So he's in the next season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's a familiar looking face for sure, so it's not too difficult to figure him out.
That's what it was. Okay, he was in Thor: The Dark World. You may remember him as the villain, like the secondary villain So there's the main elf and then his second command guy, and he like put himself in prison and then put the thing into his body and transformed. He played that guy. His name was Curse.
Okay, gotcha.
So he was under prosthetics. You couldn't really tell. So
yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like he's going to be definitely under prosthetics for this movie too. If he's playing a crocodile, I mean, I'm curious if if he's going to be fully CG and he's going to be the voice, or they're going to find a way to combine it together. But I think it'll be cool. I mean, I just want to see somehow in the future Batman get rolled into this. I want to see Batman fight Killer Croc. That's something that I've always been seeing in the comics or the animated TV series. So now I have a small chance of seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, we're in an age where we're starting to get some really, really obscure characters in films, and that's great. So go Killer Croc.
Yeah, this would be cool.
Speaking of some more obscure characters, Guardians of the Galaxy was a great hit last year. Big film, huge film. The second one was actually bumped up on the Marvel release slate because they teased the end release date at the end of the movie. It's actually bumped up in Phase 3.
Oh, okay.
To a May release.
Man, I think it's hard to ever officially nail down these release dates, even when they have like in a conference that says when these stuff is going to come out, because you never know when they're going to acquire Spider-Man and make things go crazy.
Right. Thankfully, Guardians 2 so far is not affected. So it's going to come out May of 2017. And the director, James Gunn, recently turned in his treatment of the movie to Marvel. And said it was a great experience. And he starts the screenplay this week. More work on the screenplay, I guess he should say. He says he has like 60 pages done or so. But the biggest thing is, let's walk away, next February they start filming the sequel.
Wow.
So that's still farther away because we're just hitting April, so that's 11 months, 10 months. But I mean, Marvel's not messing around. Like if they're gonna start putting out 3 movies a year, we're gonna start seeing a lot of news out of these the productions.
And I mean, I kind of just say this off the cuff. It seems like almost every week now. It's just when you think there's nothing on the horizon that they couldn't possibly announce anything, just news just always rolls in. It's just a consistent pace, so we always have it.
Yeah, what's really is really gonna blow your mind here is the first movie after Guardians is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I believe. And so Spider-Man news should be coming in the next couple months if they're on the same time schedule.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a really, really interesting time we're living in, because not only are these Marvel movies just something brand new to Hollywood, these phases of movies all interconnected, but now they're acquiring these other properties, licensed under other studios, but they're incorporating them. It's going to get a little confusing, but I think once we actually watch them on film, it'll make much more sense.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited to see where they go with Spider-Man now that Marvel and Sony are teamed up. Something we never thought, we always joke about, but we never thought would really happen. So it's definitely I can't wait to hear Spider-Man news. It's definitely something I'm looking for, but I'm cautiously optimistic, if that makes sense.
But I mean, if Guardians 2 news is starting to trickle down, we're gonna get stuff trickling down even sooner with this other stuff. Sure
We are. Some other little news here. I guess I should have moved this up with the other Arrow news. Stephen Amell,
something like that. That
works.
The
main guy in Arrow who does all the bow shooting and the topless workouts. He has been cast in the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
As Casey Jones. Many of you know Casey Jones. Are you familiar with Casey Jones, Mike? I think you're a Turtles fan.
Yeah, man, he's the dude with the hockey sticks, dude.
That's right. He's got the hockey mask. He was in the the first movie? The first live action movie?
I don't know. I get the 2 first live action movies jumbled up. I don't remember what happens in which, but he's definitely in one of the first 2 live action movies.
And he's definitely in 3 for a little bit. Whenever he's taking care of the samurai dudes that were transported back or forward in time. Yeah, Casey Jones is going to be in the next live action movie. Like you said, the first TMNT wasn't bad. And are you looking for Half Shell? Are you looking forward for Half Shell?
Dude, I think this is going to be awesome. I mean, I already talked about how I thought the first film was pretty decent. So I think Stephen Amell's really, really good as Oliver Queen and Arrow. So I'm going to love to see him on screen. He definitely has the physicality to do whatever they want him to do for this movie. And of course, I don't know if they're trying to attract young women to this film, but all you have to do is have this dude take his shirt off and just put him on the poster. That seemed to work for Arrow.
That's very true. And I mean, do you think he's going to have a larger role in it because of his prominence in Arrow? I mean, I'd never seen him in a film, and like this is a pretty big, step forward for a TV actor. Do you think he's going to have a larger role, or do you think his Arrow schedule is going to interfere with that?
I mean, I think his role will be just about as big as any of the other human roles were in the movie. As long as the four turtles have all the screen time as much as possible, because they're the best part of the movie, that'll be good. So just adding Casey Jones in there, helping them fight a little bit, that's super cool too.
Yeah, definitely so. Did they have Bebop and Rocksteady in the first one?
No, they were not in the first ones. I don't even believe they had any sort of not breadcrumbs. They didn't really have any Easter eggs pointing at it. So, but we're getting them in this next movie.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. I mean, everyone knows them. They know Krang. I just want to see where they go with it. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to move on to the next thing. I really don't have any way to segue into this next piece.
Yeah, there's no way to segue into this film.
Now, you're familiar with Machete. Mm-hmm. And Machete kills, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what if he killed again in space?
Oh, I was wondering where you're going with this. I was
Yeah.
like, he's really bringing this up slow.
Yeah. So Machete kills again in space is happening this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess first off, you might not be familiar with this film. So, Machete is a character that shows up in, I believe it's one of the fake trailers in front of the Grindhouse films.
It was.
Yeah, and those came out quite a few years ago. But yeah, that was Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino made the two Grindhouse films, and then they had fake trailers for the film, and Machete was one of them. And I guess somewhere along the lines, they promised to turn this into a film. So they brought Danny Trejo in, and he basically just plays this Mexican. He's not really like an assassin. I guess he's just kind of like a super cop almost that just uses a machete. And they're just really cheesy films. All the action in it is just over the top. He does ridiculous things like the character Machete repels out a hospital window with a patient's intestines. So you can kind of see the seriousness that's taken with these films is just totally out of bounds. So they kind of did this funny little thing in the second movie where at the very end they hinted towards this part where Machete's going to go into space, which is even more crazy. But we're getting it. It's filming. It's coming.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's said by Danny Trejo. And it's kind of out of nowhere. He was in an interview with some people, the Halloween Daily News, and I've not seen the first or second one, and I know the second one made $8 million. So I'm not really sure how a third one's coming out, unless it's maybe like a video on demand. Or like a straight to DVD kind of thing. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a movie that you can't take serious, but
of course,
and it's definitely going to be above anything that these cheesy monster movies put out. Like the Sharknadoes or like the Mecha Sharks and the things like that. This is definitely above those for sure, and it's also behind the writing and directing style of Robert Rodriguez, which is always just interesting to say the least, even when he's making this really weird stuff. But I would definitely say go see this when it comes out, because it seems like it's going to be really closely related to a lot of cheesy sci-fi movies. I mean, heck, the promo art, or the only art that they have out there for it right now, is a machete with basically a machete that looks like a lightsaber, which is just silly.
Oh dear, this sounds like Jason X. Did you ever see Jason X?
I actually saw it a long time ago, and
yeah, I saw it too, and I regret every minute of that decision.
Man, I think you can just tell it's a slow news week when we're talking about Machete with Danny Trejo and a lightsaber machete, but it's actually worth seeing. We might be trying to fill time for this week, but I actually would recommend the first two films.
Yeah, he's an ex-federale who does like superhero kind of stunts, so I feel it fits in. What won't fit in and never fits in are the Muppets. One of my things.
Yeah, I think this is a good segue. If Machete was my little tidbit that I'm partial to in this episode, the Muppets are definitely very partial to you.
God, I love me some Muppets, and there's nothing else other than that I love their movies. I don't care how bad they get. Even Muppets in Space, I have a good time with it. Mostly, because they're chock full of puns. And minor one-liner cameos, and they're just fun. I can sit down and watch the very first Muppet movie from 1979 over and over on repeat.
Oh no!
Any day of the week. It's awesome. But they're talking about ABC is looking to bring the Muppet Show back to television.
Oh wow! I remember the Muppet Show pretty pleasantly back when I was a kid, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I have the seasons. There's 5 seasons, and they're the second season's by far my favorite. If you ever want to know, second season's the best. It's got Steve Martin and a lot of other people from the era in there. But they tried this again in the 90s with a show called Muppets Tonight, which was kind of more like a I don't know, like one of the, a talk show, but with a skit show kind of thing. And it had 1 season, and it didn't really do so hot. I think maybe 2 seasons. 2 seasons, and it didn't really do so hot. But, with the increasing rise of the Muppets again, with the Muppets and the Muppets Most Wanted, I could definitely see them, bringing them back to the TV series to get, kids interested and families back into the Muppets. But I hope they don't try to, like I said, in the 90s, they introduced this new Muppet character to be the host, and he was kind of like a Rastafari kind of guy, and it just didn't work.
I think it's just comforting to know that no matter what decade we're in, Muppets never go out of style.
That is so true. Thank God for Jim Henson. So I would like to see it come back, but I don't want them to do it just because they want the money. So that's my take on it. I mean, do you have a favorite Muppet movie, Mike?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm as partial to the Muppets as you are, because it sounds like you've definitely had them on repeat for many, many years. But yeah, I didn't see the most recent one, Muppets Most Wanted, but I did see the one before that, the one that I believe Jason Segel, either he wrote or he directed it, or
he wrote it and he was starred in it.
Okay.
James Bobbin, who did Flight of the Conchords, actually directed it.
Okay, so I actually like that. So if that was technically a Muppet reboot or a refresh or whatever they were calling it, it was good. So and I got no problem with the Muppets. I usually don't go out and seek them very hardcore, but I like the one with Jason Segel in it. So if they're bringing it back to TV, I'll watch it.
Yeah. Definitely ABC, come to us, or at least me, if you want Muppet advice. Lastly, here, our last bit of news actually is a continuation of last week's last bit of news. We talked about the Halo 5 trailer last week that was airing while we were, recording our show.
Yeah, and we finally got the second part of it now.
We have the second part of this trailer, and I have no idea what to think. Have you seen it, Mike?
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched it when it came out earlier last week. I can't really say if it was particularly memorable because it was kind of just the other side of the coin. It was instead of that mysterious Spartan walking up to Master Chief, now it was Master Chief walking up to that Spartan. They seem to be setting up a story where they're going to be kind of rivals throughout the game. So, I'm curious who this new character is, but obviously I think you're the one who we should be hearing the perspective from more because you are a lot more familiar with the Halo lore than I am.
Yeah, so my first problem is the first one, trailer was Spartan Locke is his name, voiced by and played by Mike Coulter, who's actually Luke Cage in the Netflix Luke Cage series. He portrays the Master Chief as a villain, and we've never seen this. For Microsoft to vilify one of their biggest money makers is an interesting twist. But then we got this trailer, which is Master Chief walking up to Spartan Locke, and I've played every game multiple times. You never hear the Master Chief talk so much, and I think that really it doesn't feel right to me that the Master Chief talks so much, because he's a silent kind of like person, and for him to be talking down to someone even is interesting, because he usually just goes in, gets the job done, and gets out, right? He doesn't taunt the elites or the grunts or any bad guys, the Prometheans that we had. He just does it and gets out of there. So he's taunting this other guy. It doesn't feel... Something about these trailers don't feel right, and I hope it doesn't bleed over to the game. I think it's just a poor early marketing choice to get people talking. And of course they've done their job, because here we are talking about these trailers. But I definitely think that plays off the game that you will play both sides of the story, like Halo 2 did. And they will come together to a point where they both realize that they're both being had, and then they need to go work together to finish the game.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I could see that going together pretty well. And I like the idea. I mean, it might be alien to you because you're more close knit with the franchise, but I like the idea of Master Chief being a little bit more vocal. I think he was so silent earlier in the series just because you as the player are supposed to embody Master Chief. So having him speak too much kind of takes you out of the position of being the hero yourself. But I'm fine with him talking more. I'm kind of getting a little tired of video games now that just are a little lazy or a little lax on the story. I like playing games with lots of story to it. So if this is just a way for them to bring more story, I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah. I think the first Halo game for this generation of consoles has got to be mind blowing. It's got to be innovative. It's got to be involving, and fingers crossed, man, that you get an Xbox One and join the revolution.
Well, we'll have to see. I don't know about that, but it sounds like I'll definitely be hearing about it from you.
Oh, you won't shut me up. So, that's it for news this week. I think I want to end on the game we've kind of been tossing around.
Yeah, so tell our listeners what we're going to be doing here.
Okay, so this is lucky episode 13, right? Because it's awesome. And we had April 1st this week. I want to play a game that's kind of like fact or crap. So I'm going to give you something, and you're going to guess it's true or false or multiple choice or whatever, and then you're going to feed me back something. Here.
Okay.
So I got a list of questions. I'll go with mine first, if you don't care. You got your list ready?
Yes. I do believe your list is longer than mine just because your knowledge is far superior to mine. So I struggled finding things that may or may not stump you.
That's perfectly fine. And definitely like I said, I delved outside of my Marvel branch, but I'm going to start off with my Marvel questions.
All right, let's do it.
So first off, Gwyneth Paltrow was the highest paid actor or actress on Iron Man. True or false?
I'm going to go true.
False.
Oh.
Who do you think was the highest paid?
I mean, was it I want to say Robert Downey Jr., but I feel like he was such a flip of a coin back then. They were rebranding him basically as someone family friendly. I feel like someone easily was paid more than him. Was it Jeff Bridges maybe?
Nope, Terrence Howard actually made the most money off during Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Isn't that kind of the reason why he didn't come back for the other films?
Yeah, he wanted more money, but they were like, we don't want you to make that much money. And they replaced it with Don Cheadle. So there you go. Now you know, Terrence Howard, highest paid actor in Iron Man 1.
Oh, Terrence Howard, you fucked up.
You really let something good go. All right, what's next?
All right, well, on my end, so last week, Mark Hamill guest appeared on CW's The Flash. So true or false, did Mark Hamill speak the famous Star Wars phrase, "I am your father," during the episode?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
The problem is you texted me this.
Oh, I did.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I did or not, because when I put out a tweet about the episode, because the episode was amazing to begin with, and maybe I knew this subconsciously, but I just wanted our listeners to know how awesome last week's episode was with Mark Hamill guest starring. But when I tweeted about it, I made sure to be a little cryptic about what actually happened so people could enjoy it themselves. But I guess I didn't care and totally spoiled it for you.
No, that's totally fine. What's really interesting fact about this, I want to throw one out there, is Mark Hamill was the trickster in the 1990s Flash TV show.
Yeah, and it was even more of a crazier episode because Barry Allen's father in the current Flash was the old Barry Allen in the 1990 series. So it was just like this crazy reunion of characters. It was really cool to see it all.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Good question. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Stan Lee's first cameo was in the Incredible Hulk TV series. True or false?
Oh, man, I don't think I've ever seen the Incredible Hulk TV series, so I'm just going to go true.
It is true. He was in the trial of the Incredible Hulk as a jury member.
Ding, 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 ding.
And that started his cameo appearances throughout.
Stanley, we love you.
We do love some Stanley. I got my picture with him on my mantle in the living room. So, cool. All right, what's your next one, buddy?
All right, number 2. So this is a multiple choice. Comic Sans, the font, was inspired by which famous comic book's lettering? Was it A, The Dark Knight Returns, which was lettered by John Costanza, or was it B, Watchmen, which was lettered by Dave Gibbons?
I am going to go with The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, trick question. It was both of them.
Oh, man.
I knew I'd get you. I didn't give you an all of the above option because it's always all of the above. Pro tip out there, if any of you are taking multiple choice tests, if there's an all of the above, just go with all of the above if you're not sure. It's always that.
You got me. You got me good.
I wasn't gonna give you the easy way out. But yeah, it was inspired by both of them, which I thought was pretty cool. So when you start to give Comic Sans hate out there, people, don't blame Comic Sans. Blame the people that overuse it.
It's true.
Inspired from 2 of the best graphic novels ever penned.
Yeah. That's a good one, actually. Mm-hmm. Fun fact for everyone out there.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going to get my last Marvel question out of the way. All right. Hugh Jackman was the first and only choice to be Wolverine in the X-Men movies.
Wrong. It was going to be I don't know how serious it got into the talks, and I don't know why exactly he couldn't do it, but Keanu Reeves was actually slated to be Wolverine at one point in time.
Well, that's true. However, they actually hired Doug Ray Scott and filmed some scenes with him before they fired him.
I wish we could see those.
Yeah. So in X-Men 1, it was Doug Ray Scott, and they ended up letting him go because it just wasn't working out. Man, we also could have got Keanu, but I think we ended up going with the perfect Hugh Jackman. Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. We did. Do you have any more, or was it just the 2?
All right, so this is my last one. It's the true or false.
Get laid on me.
In the 1940s, there was a Buddhist superhero called the Green Lama whose power was reincarnation.
False.
It's true.
God.
It was pretty funny because I thought it was like a typo for the Green Lantern, and I knew that you were a pretty big fan of the Lantern Corps. But I looked into it. It has nothing to do with Green Lantern. But I just thought it was hilarious. The Green Llama. That is interesting. I wonder how many people were offended by that one. Oh, I fooled you. You got me good. Oh, April fooled you. All right, my last 2 non-Marvel questions. I got 2 for you here. All right. First up, the Millennium Falcon makes an appearance in a Star Trek film. Millennium Falcon. I want to say... Wait, no, because that was... False. True. Oh. In First Contact, the digital Millennium Falcon floats around in the background. Oh, really? See, I was getting confused because I wasn't sure if we were talking the recent Star Trek films, because I knew that they were doing things with the Batman Batmobile in Star Wars. So I wasn't sure if any of that was crossing over with the Star Trek stuff, but I guess not. No, that's okay. That was a trick question. Oh. So all Trekkies and Star Wars fans can live together knowing that they exist together. Yeah. I mean, come on, people. Yeah. Let's just get along. And lastly, Harley Quinn was first introduced in Batman comics during the late 1980s. That is false. When did she make her first appearance? The animated series. Yes, in fact, she did. So, there you go. That's a good one. Hey, we did pretty good, man. Yeah, that was actually fun. I like that. Yeah, maybe we should do these more often.
We should. I honestly, like I said, I have a book, a digital book that has 2,500 questions from Marvel Comics.
Oh, jeez.
And 4 multiple choice questions for each one. So,
oh, man.
Or 4 answers for each question. So, I mean, we have a 25% chance of getting it right.
That would make an excellent bathroom book.
Oh, my gosh. It makes an excellent, like, if I'm bored and don't want to do anything else, I'll just whip that sucker out. See how many out of 10 I can get? Like, my rating right now is like 75%. So, in case you guys were wanting my hit and miss record. So, that's it for the show this week. It's the shortest show yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just good. Now our listeners can be just a slightly more productive today.
Yes, or slightly more disappointed in us for not going the full hour.
Yeah, well, we came close. If we wanted to lengthen the show, we could cut in the cameo of my wife looking for an extension cord for her computer.
That's true. That would be a beautiful section for them to listen to.
That was enthralling. We could do a little contest. You don't win anything except for just a shout out. But if you can find the point in the episode where we had to cut that out, you win a shout out.
Yes, shout out. Email us. How can they let you know if they find that point, Mike?
Well, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter or Instagram. And if you want to watch any of the comics, or I guess read any of the comics that I draw or write, you can go to picklecomics.com and you can check those out. And what about you, Chris? How can they follow you?
Well, if they want to follow me, they can follow me at Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN, or come read my stuff on Comic UI. Some of the links we use today are brought to you from Comic UI.
Yeah.
And lastly, sometimes I run on Nerd Traffic. It's been a little light lately, but it's because I've been busy. I actually want to do a little plug here on this. Me and Comic UI, we're sponsoring, or we have a promo page and a preview issue of a graphic novel coming out.
Oh, cool.
Called Staunch Ambition by some great guys. I'll tell you more about it later as it gets out. It's not to print yet. We're going to have the preview issue available at C2E2 later this month. And been busy working on that and getting that ready, and I'm excited for that. So that's something new.
Well, cool. Well, and as always, you guys, please go to superheroslate.com. That's where you can find all the links to subscribe to all of our different feeds that we have out there for the show. Links to the iTunes stuff so you can review and rate us. And, you can just go there and check out all of our show notes. You can take a look at all these images that we talk about every week. And, it makes it easy to share it with your friends.
Yes. And it works on mobile devices.
Whoa, crazy future.
Yeah, we're in your phones.
Yeah, but, guys, just get yourselves ready. These next couple weeks are going to be crazy.
Yes. So we'll give you a couple minutes back for the day.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.